The asteroid gleamed like a dead, forgotten pearl against the vast darkness of space. Its rocky surface stretched endless and gray, marked by jagged craters and silent stone valleys. Here, where nothing seemed to live, something extraordinary was about to happen. Day, the alien creature, crawled across the harsh terrain. His silver-gray skin was torn and bleeding, each movement causing waves of pain that rippled through his body. The genetic markings of exile burned like invisible scars, a permanent reminder of his banishment from his own civilization. He had challenged the oldest laws of his people, laws that prohibited communication and knowledge exchange with other species. For this crime he was cast out, left to die in this desolate wasteland. No one would come for him. No one would rescue him. The asteroid's wind whispered across the rocky landscape, carrying tiny particles of dust that stung his wounded body. Day's breathing was labored, each breath a struggle against the pain and the harsh environment. His bioluminescent wounds flickered like dying stars, creating small patches of soft blue light against the gray stone. In the mining colony nearby, life continued without knowledge of the dying alien. Humans worked, children played, and researchers studied the asteroid's mineral composition. They were unaware of the extraordinary being slowly dying just kilometers away from their protective. Day remembered his civilization, structured, rigid, and terrified of change. When he discovered communication techniques that could bridge different species, he was considered a dangerous rebel. His curiosity was seen as a threat to their traditional ways. Instead of embracing new knowledge, they chose to eliminate those who challenged their established systems. His body was growing weaker. The genetic punishment inflicted by his own people was designed to ensure a slow, painful death. Toxic markers in his cellular structure would gradually break down his internal systems, causing progressive organ failure. He knew he had limited time. As darkness began to fall across the asteroid, Day spotted a small ridge that might offer some protection from the harsh winds. With tremendous effort, he dragged his injured body toward the rocky formation. Each movement was agony, but the instinct to survive remained strong. Just as he reached the ridge, his strength completely failed. He collapsed, his silver-gray skin now pale and translucent. The bioluminescent wounds flickered slower, like candles about to be extinguished. Death seemed imminent. But fate, it seemed, had different plans. A small figure appeared in the distance. A human child wearing a protective suit was exploring the asteroid's outer regions. Her movements were curious, careful, and completely unafraid. She moved across the rocky terrain with a grace that seemed impossible for someone so young. Day saw her approach but was too weak to react. He could only watch as the small human drew closer, her presence creating a strange contrast against the gray, lifeless landscape. Her suit was bright red, a splash of color in a world of stone and shadow. The child stopped, her helmet turning toward where Day lay. For a moment, everything was still. The wind stopped. The asteroid seemed to hold its breath. Then slowly, the child began to move toward him. Day closed his eyes, believing this was perhaps the last moment of his existence. Whatever the human child intended, whether to help or harm, he was beyond fighting. His mission of breaking cultural barriers, of spreading knowledge between species, seemed to have reached its final tragic conclusion. But something about the child's approach felt different. There was no fear in her movement, no hesitation. Just a steady, purposeful walk toward the dying alien. As she came closer, Day could see her face through the helmet's transparent shield. She was young, perhaps 8 or 9 Earth years old. Her eyes were dark and intelligent, filled with a curiosity that seemed to transcend her species' typical boundaries. Little did Day know that this moment would change everything, not just for him, but for the understanding between species in this remote corner of the universe. The asteroid continued its silent rotation, unaware that a remarkable story was about to unfold. The child's gloved hand reached out, touching the alien's wounded skin. Her name was Jay Park, a young human whose curiosity knew no boundaries. Inside her protective suit, her heart raced with excitement and something deeper, a sense that this moment was extraordinary. Day didn't move. He couldn't move. His body was a landscape of pain, his silver-gray skin barely holding together. The bioluminescent wounds continued their soft, pulsing light, a silent communication of suffering. Jay's translation device, a small gadget her researcher parents had modified, hung from her suit's communication panel. She activated it, speaking softly. "Can you understand me?" To her surprise, the alien's eyes, deep and intelligent, focused directly on her. They were not the eyes of a beast, but of a thinking, feeling creature. Intelligent recognition flickered in those eyes, challenging everything the colony believed about unknown alien life. The asteroid's wind howled outside, a constant background noise to this unexpected encounter. Jay knew she shouldn't be here. The colony's strict rules prohibited unauthorized exploration of the outer regions, but something about this wounded creature called to her. Her fingers carefully moved across her suit's medical panel. Basic xenomedical training from her parents kicked in. She understood that different species required different medical approaches. What might heal a human could potentially harm this alien. "You're hurt," she whispered, more to herself than to Day. Day's body responded with a slight tremor. Not of fear, but of recognition. His cellular structure was rapidly breaking down, punishment from his own civilization. Each moment was a battle against the genetic markers designed to ensure his death. Jay's translation device began converting her words into a series of complex sound frequencies. To her amazement, Day's body responded. Micro-movements suggested he was attempting to communicate back. The device crackled. Broken words emerged. Help, not threat. Jay understood enough. This creature was asking for help, not presenting a danger. Her young mind processed this faster than most adults would. While colony security would see a potential enemy, she saw a living being in profound pain. She opened a small medical compartment in her suit. Specialized healing gel, designed for multiple biological structures, could potentially stabilize Day's condition. Her hands moved with a precision that belied her young age. "Stay still," she instructed, applying the gel carefully. Day watched her. Years of cultural conditioning from his own species would have suggested this interaction was impossible. A young creature from another species showing compassion? Impossible. And yet, here it was happening. The healing gel began working. Day's wounded skin started responding, the toxic genetic markers slowing their destructive process. His bioluminescent wounds changed from a pained blue to a softer, more stable green. Outside the protective ridge, the asteroid continued its silent cold rotation. No one in the human colony knew what was happening here. No one knew that a young girl was potentially changing the understanding of interspecies interaction. Jay's communication device continued translating. Fragments of Day's story emerged. Punishment, exile, a civilization that feared knowledge and change. Each translated fragment painted a picture of a complex, troubled background. "Why did they exile you?" Jay asked, her voice a mixture of childlike curiosity and unexpected compassion. The device crackled. "Knowledge, forbidden, communication, dangerous." Jay didn't fully understand, but she understood enough. This creature had been punished for wanting to learn, for wanting to communicate. In that moment, she made a decision that would change everything. "I'll help you," she said firmly. Day's eyes, those deep, intelligent eyes, looked directly into her helmet. In that moment, something passed between them. Not just understanding, but a connection that transcended species, age, and the cold, unforgiving landscape of the asteroid. The colony's medical bay buzzed with tension. Commander Hyun Kim stood rigid, his eyes fixed on the medical scanner displaying Day's alien biology. Jay watched carefully, her small frame pressed against the observation window. "This creature is a potential threat," Commander Kim declared, his voice sharp and controlled. Jay's parents, both xenobiological researchers, exchanged worried glances. Dr. Park stepped forward, presenting the communication logs and medical data. "The alien shows no aggressive markers. In fact, Its cellular structure suggests high intelligence and complex emotional responses. Day lay on the medical platform, his silver-gray skin now stabilized but still fragile. The bioluminescent markings had transformed from painful blue to a calm, steady green. Medical sensors tracked his recovery, revealing biological patterns, unlike anything the researchers had seen before. The translation device continued working, converting Day's communication into understandable language. Fragments of his story emerged. A civilization trapped in rigid thinking, punishment for those who challenged traditional beliefs, a culture that feared knowledge more than death. I challenged our oldest laws, Day's translated words revealed. Communication between species was forbidden. Knowledge was controlled. I believed understanding could bring progress. Jay listened intently. Her 8-year-old mind processed the information differently from the adults. Where they saw potential, danger, she saw a story of courage and curiosity. Colony security wanted immediate containment. Protocols demanded isolation of unknown alien life. But Dr. Park's research presented a different perspective. The data suggested Day was not just a creature, but a sentient being with complex thoughts and emotions. We cannot treat him like a specimen, Dr. Park argued. He's a living, thinking entity. Commander Kim remained unconvinced. His military training demanded caution. Every unknown represented a potential risk to the human settlement. The asteroid colony was vulnerable, isolated from primary human territories. Jay understood something the adults didn't. She had seen Day's vulnerability, his pain, his desire to understand. During their initial contact, a connection had formed, something beyond language or biological differences. The medical bay's sterile environment felt heavy with unspoken tensions. Day's breathing remained steady, his alien physiology slowly adapting to human medical treatments. Each moment revealed more about his extraordinary biology. The genetic markers of Exile are complex, Dr. Park explained to the assembled researchers. They're designed to cause progressive cellular breakdown, but his body is fighting back, showing remarkable resilience. Commander Kim's resolve began to crack. The scientific data contradicted his initial security assessment. Day was not a threat. He was a breakthrough in understanding alien intelligence. Jay stepped forward, surprising everyone. He needs protection, she said simply. Her young voice carried a conviction that silenced the room. The translation device continued working, converting Day's internal thoughts. My civilization believes isolation prevents contamination of ideas. They fear change more than they value knowledge. Outside the medical bay, the asteroid's harsh landscape remained unchanged. But inside, something remarkable was happening. A wounded alien, a curious child, and a group of researchers were challenging everything they knew about communication and understanding. Dr. Park's final report would challenge existing protocols. Day was not just a subject of study, he was potential proof of intelligent life beyond human comprehension. Commander Kim made his decision. Temporary asylum, he announced, under strict observation. Day's eyes, deep and intelligent, scanned the room. He understood more than they realized. This was not just about survival. This was about breaking barriers, challenging established thinking. Jay smiled. She had done more than rescue an alien. She had opened a door to a new understanding of life, communication, and possibility. The retrieval ship appeared suddenly, cutting through the asteroid's dark space like a sharp blade. Its metallic surface gleamed with threat, a clear message of destruction and punishment. Day's body tensed. His alien physiology recognized the approaching vessel. The same civilization that had exiled him now came to ensure his complete elimination. The bioluminescent markings on his skin began flickering, with warning signals. "They're coming," Day's translation device announced, his voice carrying a mixture of fear and resignation. Jay stood beside him, her small frame surprisingly determined. Commander Hyun Kim and the colony's defense team scrambled into action. Radar systems tracked the incoming ship, calculating potential attack strategies. Dr. Park's research team worked frantically, They had limited time to develop a defensive strategy. The alien retrieval ship carried technologies far beyond standard human weapons. Its purpose was clear: total elimination of the exiled creature. "We need a defense system," Commander Kim shouted, monitoring the incoming threat. Computer screens filled with complex calculations and potential defensive protocols. Day understood something the humans didn't. His knowledge of the retrieval ship's technology could provide a crucial advantage. "Their weapons use molecular disruption frequencies," he explained, "but they have a specific weakness in their energy transmission system." Jay listened carefully. Her young mind processed the information quickly. While adults prepared traditional defensive strategies, she recognized the potential of Day's insider knowledge. The colony's protective dome began generating additional energy shields. Defensive turrets powered up, their targeting systems locking onto the approaching vessel. But everyone knew traditional weapons would be ineffective against such advanced technology. "We need something different," Dr. Park muttered, studying the incoming data. Day's translation device continued providing critical information. His cellular memory contained detailed schematics of the retrieval ship's technological vulnerabilities. Years of being part of the civilization that now sought to destroy him had given him unique insights. Jay connected Day's translation device directly to the colony's main defense computer. It was a risky move, something no adult would have considered. But her intuition suggested this was their only chance. The retrieval ship entered the asteroid's immediate space. Its weapons began charging, creating massive energy signatures that could potentially destroy entire sections of the human colony. Commander Kim watched in tense silence. Years of military training had not prepared him for this moment. An exiled alien, a young girl, and a handful of researchers were humanity's only defense. Suddenly, the defense systems responded differently. Instead of traditional weapon responses, the colony's computers began generating complex frequency patterns, exactly matching the retrieval ship's molecular disruption technologies. The alien ship hesitated. Its weapon systems became confused. The perfectly mirrored frequency patterns created a technological feedback loop, rendering their primary attack mechanisms useless. "Disruption complete," the colony's computer announced. The retrieval ship began losing power. Its advanced technologies, designed for precise elimination, now worked against themselves. Day's insider knowledge, combined with Jay's unconventional approach, had created an impossible defense. Diplomatic channels erupted. The alien civilization discovered their retrieval mission had failed, not through military might, but through an unexpected combination of human creativity and alien knowledge. Commander Kim looked at Jay and Day in disbelief. A young girl and an exiled alien had done what entire military systems could not. They had protected the colony through understanding, not violence. "We did it," Jay whispered, squeezing Day's hand. The asteroid continued its silent rotation, unaware that a significant moment in interspecies relations had just occurred. The retrieval ship drifted powerless, a testament to the power of communication and unexpected alliance. Day's bioluminescent markings now glowed with a steady, peaceful light, no longer a sign of exile, but a symbol of hope and new beginnings. The asteroid colony transformed overnight. What was once a simple mining settlement became the center of an extraordinary diplomatic revolution. Day, once an exiled alien, now stood as a bridge between human understanding and extraterrestrial communication. Jay watched proudly as her alien friend became the colony's most unexpected ambassador. International research teams arrived, eager to study this groundbreaking interspecies relationship. Day's cellular memories contained centuries of hidden knowledge that could change humanity's understanding of the universe. "Communication is not a weapon," Day would explain during research sessions. "It is a bridge between different experiences." The aliens' genetic markings, once a symbol of punishment, now represented hope. Scientists discovered that Day's biological structure contained adaptive capabilities beyond human comprehension. Each day revealed new miracles of alien biology and intelligence. Commander Hyun Kim, once the most skeptical military leader, became Day's strongest supporter. The diplomatic incident had transformed the colony's entire approach to unknown life forms. Traditional fear had been replaced by curiosity and understanding. International media coverage exploded. A young girl and an exiled alien had done what decades of diplomatic missions could not. They had created a genuine connection between different species. Jay became an unexpected symbol of childhood compassion and understanding. Research facilities expanded. The asteroid colony received unprecedented funding to continue studying Day and the potential for interspecies communication. Dr. Park's research team worked around the clock, decoding the complex biological and linguistic information Day shared. "We were wrong," Dr. Park explained during a global conference. "Alien life is not about threat, it's about understanding." Day's original civilization watched in shock. Their attempt to eliminate an individual who challenged their rigid thinking had backfired completely. Instead of destroying a rebel, they had created an unprecedented diplomatic opportunity. Jay continued her studies, now receiving special education focused on xenobiology and interspecies communication. Her young mind had proven more adaptable than entire teams of experienced researchers. The connection she shared with Day remained strong and unique. The colony developed new communication technologies based on Day's biological information. Translation. Devices became more sophisticated, capable of understanding complex emotional and intellectual exchanges between different species. International peace committees invited Day to share his experiences. His story of exile, survival, and eventual acceptance became a powerful narrative about breaking cultural barriers. Schools began teaching his journey as an example of compassion and understanding. Commander Kim established a new division dedicated to peaceful alien interactions. Traditional military approaches were replaced with diplomatic and scientific strategies. Day became a key advisor, helping humans understand potential communication approaches. "Fear is the real enemy," Day would often say, "not differences." The asteroid, once a symbol of isolation and punishment, now represented hope. Research stations expanded, new technologies emerged. The small mining colony became a global center of interspecies research and understanding. Jay, now 12 years old, continued working alongside Day. Their connection remained a powerful example of how understanding could transcend biological, cultural, and species boundaries. Global leaders recognized the significance of their story. Diplomatic protocols were rewritten. The concept of alien life changed from something to be feared to something to be understood and appreciated. Day's bioluminescent markings continued to glow, no longer a sign of exile, but a beacon of hope. His body, once marked for destruction, now represented the potential for universal understanding. The retrieval ship that had once threatened the colony now sat in a research facility, a reminder of how close they had come to destruction. But compassion, curiosity, and a young girl's unexpected courage had changed everything. As stars continued their silent dance across the asteroid's sky, Day and Jay looked toward new horizons. They had done more than survive. They had created a new path for understanding between different forms of intelligent life.